Well, hello, everybody. It's just after 11, so we're going to get started. Just like to welcome you to the call. My name is Dave Ellis, and I'm the VP of Programs at First Canada. And I'm glad that you're able to join us today for our session on for teachers regarding the First LEGO League Explore program. And we have a great session for you today. I just want to go over some housekeeping stuff before we get started. First of all, the session is being recorded, so if you have to step away for anything or have to leave early, the session will be recorded and sent out to you afterwards via email. And there is a question option, so in your tray at the bottom of your screen, you should see a chat function, and you can click in there and you can write your comments in the chat box. And any questions that you have there, just queue them up and then we can address them at the end of the session. Today's presenter is Christine Bibick, and she is the program manager for First LEGO League Discover and First LEGO League Explore in Ontario. And we're lucky to have her. She comes with a ton of experience in both of those programs, as well as First LEGO League Challenge and First Robotics Competition. So she's got a wide scope of experience. And she's going to be covering how to teach this in your class, what resources are available, and how to go about running your season. So without further ado, I'd like to bring Christine on for the rest of the show.
Thanks, Dave. I'm really glad that you're able to join us today, whether you're watching live today or the recording afterwards. Really want to encourage you to get involved and reach out. Today we're going to be focusing on Ontario specifically, but a lot of this material is appropriate no matter where you live. So I'm going to start off by sharing my screen and just going through some of the basics so that you get a sense of exactly what First LEGO League Explore is all about. So first off, it's for ages 6 to 10 or grades 2 to 4. And it's a really wonderful program. It's part of the whole family of FIRST programs. And as you can see here, FIRST encompasses a lot of different things. Here we're focusing primarily on our First LEGO League division. And there's 3 segments to that. Discover for ages 4 to 6, Explore, which we're talking about today, for ages 6 to 10, and then Challenge, which we're actually going to be featuring in a video tomorrow if you're interested in joining us on that one, and that's for ages 9 to 14. And then we also have First Tech Challenge, which we'll be talking about this week as well, and First Robotics Competition for high school age kids. So FIRST is a real family of programs, and what's really great about it is that the skills that are learned in the younger years can be built on, and really they progress throughout all of the programs, so that it's really all-encompassing in the end, and it's really quite exciting to see kids grow through the family of FIRST programs. So Explore, as I said, is for ages 6 to 10, and they're really focusing on real-world problems at this age. They're designing, they're getting an introduction to code, and they're using their imaginations to come up with really creative and often wild, and that's great, fun solutions, using their We Do 2.0 and Lego. I have a little video that I thought I'd show that just sort of summarizes quite nicely the program, is specifically focused on this year. Every year there is a new challenge theme. This year the theme is called Playmakers, and it's a really fun topic, and we'll just watch this video and get a sense of exactly what First LEGO League Explore is all about.
For centuries, sports have played an integral part of our culture. Moving, collaborating, competing, celebrating. Sports have paved a way for us to play and move together. The activities that challenge us physically and mentally are shifting, and we are challenged to use our minds, our creativity, imagination, and critical thinking as much as we use our muscles. As we rethink where we move and redesign the parks, fields, and spaces around us to create places to play, we have the power to be forces for change and redefine the game. Let's work together to champion every sport and every person that plays the game, so people of all abilities and skill levels can participate, giving us all reasons to cheer. It's time for us to revolutionize the way we play and move. It's time to be game changers. In the 2020-2021 first LEGO League Explore season, Playmakers, you will explore new ways to move and play.
Hi, I'm May. And I'm Marco. And this is Max.
We are your guides to Playmakers.
Come on, let's go.
Marco and I don't like to stay still, and that's a good thing.
We've noticed there are lots of places where people are not active.
Moving keeps everyone both healthy and strong.
May and I have great ideas for games and activities wherever they go.
Can you help us create new and fun ways for everyone to get moving? Your ideas could help change your community or even the world. You will also learn about the first core values. The core values are part of everything we do at first. They're like the members on your team. Each one works together to help you succeed.
Discovery,
Innovation,
impact,
inclusion,
teamwork,
and fun. You will use the core values all the time. Create new, fun ways for everyone to get moving.
Everyone on your team will have a chance to program and build.
At the end of the season, make a team poster about your team and its journey.
Then get ready to celebrate at a festival.
You can show and tell reviewers what you did and what you learned.
And see what other teams created too.
We can't wait to see what you create to make life better in your community.
Good luck this season, and remember to have fun as you reimagine the way we play and move. Whether you're exploring how our bodies move or uncovering opportunities to play that are fun and fair for everyone, your creativity can revolutionize the world. Let's rethink the way we play and move. It's time to be game changers.
Great. So hopefully that gives you an idea of what the program's all about. And I just wanted to share this next slide with you to sort of give you an idea of what your team journey might look like. As you can see, it's not very linear, and that's just fine. It's a very flexible program, and it's designed to be that way so that you can maximize it to be the best for your particular group of students. Anyway, moving on. One of the things that really sets this program apart in my mind is the core values. And these are great because they can tie in probably with what your school has for their core values as well. And here you can see we focus on discover, innovation, impact, teamwork, inclusion, and fun. All important fun. And these are core values that are shared across all of the FIRST programs. So this is a great intro to it. And if students move on to FIRST LEGO League Challenge afterwards, they'll be that much more ahead of the game. These are the season's materials. The materials pictured on the left-hand side of the screen are ones that are seasonal specific. So every year with your registration fee, you will receive this Explore set, and you can see the mission or the model that pictured there as well to the side of that. And you'll also receive a team meeting guide, as you see below, and each student will have an engineering notebook. These are great resources, and we'll talk a little bit more about them after. And on the right-hand side is your investment piece. This is the WeDo 2.0. This is something that once you have it, or if you already have some in your classroom, you can utilize them and not have to have that expense. But this is something you can reuse year after year. So this is sort of the investment piece that moves forward with you year after year. Of course, additional Lego is always welcome. You can use any additional official Lego that you'd like. So that could even include multiple WeDo 2.0s if you so choose to do so. And you might want to supplement this with some other bricks and just basic pieces that you might have, so that the students have even more to build with to create an even more exciting and creative model for their presentation. Next, this is what the programming piece looks like. So this software is free to download online, so you can actually download it even before you get your equipment to give it a try, although you won't have a WeDo 2.0 probably to test it out with, but you can certainly get a feel for how the program works. It's drag and drop, so very easy and very intuitive. And it's you can see the icons at the bottom that you drag up, and they're really simple to use. I think they're pretty obvious what they are just by the symbols. You know, more motor forwards and backwards, got the little arrow there, music symbol. It's like the weight symbol, and then this yellow loop is there as well. And we have a video as well that will be out shortly if it's not already available, and that will go into this in a little bit more detail to show you how to do that. And we have other resources on the firstroboticscanada.org website that you can check out as well. This is what the team meeting guide looks like on the left-hand side of the screen. So you can see it's really clear, the outcomes that are suggested, step-by-step, what to do, instructions, cleanup pointers, lots of great info here. I really love the team meeting guide, and remember that it is just that, a guide. So you can follow it exactly, keeping your life simple, or you can supplement it, add to it, change it to meet the needs of your individual students. I really like that about this program because it gives you the opportunity to add in, you know, a field trip if you should choose to do something like that, or to extend learning if a concept's harder, or to just take things to one more level, or simplify things if you're under a tight timeline and maybe can't fit in everything you'd like to. So use it as a guide. But it's there and really makes it simple. This year, they're also sharing this electronically. So if you have more than one person helping with your team, if you have another helper, or, you know, another teacher, maybe you're sharing something, you can both have access to that resource, which is nice. On the right-hand side is what the student's engineering notebook sample looks like. And you can see there's an inset on the left that shows in the teacher's guide or the team meeting guide what the students have in their notebook, so that you're aware. And it's really great. It's got some great bright colors. It helps walk them through the engineering process, and you know, it's a great take home too at the end of the session that they can take home and sort of recap what they've learned throughout the season. This is what things look like at the end. This is sort of your end goal, and everybody's is going to look entirely different. But here you see a group of students, and you'll see they have some tablets there, and their drag and drop program on that back tablet. And in front of that, they have their Lego model or creation, and that's their solution to the problem. And usually in this sort of setting here, they are talking to their reviewers. They're explaining to their reviewers how they came up with their design, what it's all about, and they're explaining how it works. Also in the background, you'll see the tri-panel display board. This is the project part of the the competition, or it's not a competition, of the program for First Lego League Explore. And this is something that the students put together, and it explains their journey as well. You can include photos on that, or drawings, or the kids can write up their findings, anything really that they'd like to share. And it's quite a versatile piece, so there's no right or wrong to that. And the idea really is that it's the students' work, and that it's a chance for them to showcase what they've learned and accomplished. At the end of the session, the very last lesson, if you are in a classroom setting, would be your festival. This is a really special part of the FIRST program. It's a way to really celebrate what students have learned and accomplished, no matter what that is. It's going to be different for everyone. And a festival can sort of take on a wide variety of appearances. It can be something very simple. It could just be everyone presenting to one another in the class, one group going at a time. It could be inviting another neighboring classroom to come in to watch what you're doing. I know that's going to be a little bit challenging depending on COVID this year, but just to give you an idea of what it could look like. You could do something perhaps for a group of teachers, or do something at your board office. There are lots of different options for you. It could be a celebration in the library, or inviting parents to come in for a special day, or it could even maybe be at a parent-teacher night. So lots of possibilities there, and it's really up to you if you're having a class or school pack, what you'd like that to look like. But here we've got a number of teams that are together, and you can see their trifold displays in the background and some of their Lego creations as well. So it's just a chance for them to celebrate and share what they've learned. So next steps, registering a class or a school pack is obviously the next step. And I also wanted to highlight the fact that it could be an individual team as well, if you're wanting to sort of do this at home, perhaps with your own kids, or if you want to do it as an after-school type program and don't have enough for a class or a school pack, you can also register just a team. After you've registered the team, you're going to complete your screening process. All coaches and mentors complete this process. It's part of the process. Next, you would order your equipment. So once you've registered your team, those seasonal materials will come to you automatically. That's included in the cost. So you really only have to order your equipment if it's your first year and you don't have any WeDo 2.0s that you have access to. Also wanted to highlight the fact that we have grants available to Ontario teams. So this is, after you've registered, this is the time to apply for one of those grants. They are limited, but we usually have a fairly good number, so I do encourage you to apply. For a team, for example, it's a $200 grant. For a class pack, it's $1,000, and for a school grant, it's $2,000. And also here we have provided you with a link to a document on COVID interruptions, so that I know that's probably first and foremost on many people's minds these days, so we wanted to make sure you had access to that as well. And here's what it looks, a graphic that sort of shows what it involves, and a link as well. So these are different things, suggestions that you might want to incorporate, but of course you're going to be following your school's guidelines and local guidelines as well. So those would sort of trump anything we've suggested here, but there's some really good solid suggestions here that I'm sure you can appreciate and might want to have a look at and consider integrating into your classroom. So here's the sample budget. This is for a single team. So as you can see, it's about $550 Canadian. It's an approximate number because registration fees are paid in US dollars, so it depends on the cost of or the Canadian dollar at any given point. But the registration fee includes, for a single team, it includes a team meeting guide, 1 Explore set, 6 engineering notebooks, and that sort of all comes together in your kit when you register. So that will be shipped directly to you. The only other thing you really need to order at this point in time would be a WeDo 2.0, and those are available from B&B in Quebec or Spectrum Education in Newmarket, Ontario. There's only 2 suppliers for those in Canada at this point in time. You may have some other additional expenses if you're running an individual team. You've got your display board, you know, you might want some extra Lego, and a lot of teams will coordinate and have matching t-shirts or team t-shirts, but you can use school t-shirts if you have those, or anything else. It's just a suggestion. And then for individual teams, because they don't host their own expo, there may be a registration fee of up to $50 for attending a festival. So moving on, this is very similar, but a class pack. This is designed for 30 students. So it comes with the same team meeting guide, festival guide, which is different, so that because you'll be hosting your own festival in this situation because it's a class. 7 Lego Explore sets, and the 30 engineering notebooks because it's designed for up to 30 students. You will also want to have your own core sets for the WeDo 2.0, so we suggest 7 of those because it's really about 7 teams that you'd be dividing your students into. And then miscellaneous expenses would include festival expenses, so if you're deciding to serve a snack at your wrap-up festival, or if you're having some sort of award or whatever, you'll want to allow for that as well. And just a reminder again that those WeDo 2.0s, which are your big expense, those are reusable year after year. And then a school pack is the same thing again, but for 144 students this year, so 24 team meeting guides, because this is designed to be shared amongst different teachers in a school setting, or it could be a board-wide type thing where you have teachers at different schools, so everybody has their own team meeting guide. There's 1 festival guide, which can be shared amongst everyone because you probably want to all come together for that, if COVID allows. And then also the 18 Explore sets. For this group, we suggest 18 WeDo 2.0s, and once again, some miscellaneous expenses to cover anything you might want to use for your celebration or festival expenses, your display boards, etc. So, how to register? This is really simple. You basically create or log in if you already have a FIRST account at www.firstinspires.org. And this is, you'll find the link in the top right-hand corner of the screen when you log in there. And you're just going to create your class or team or school pack account and profile. Fill in as many of the fields as you can. These can always be updated later. You might not know what your team name is going to be if you're creating a team, for example, or you might not know exactly how many students or what have you, but fill in as much as you can and have it updated later. Do make sure, though, that your shipping address is correct and somewhere that you can receive your materials, so that if you don't have any delays in receiving those Inspire sets or the or your engineering notebooks. And next, you purchase your class pack or school pack or team, and you can do that by either paying online or by creating an invoice and having it done that way, so that if that's how your school operates. The last thing I really wanted to hit home here with you is the number of resources that we have at the firstroboticscanada.org website. So if you log in there, you'll see at the top of the screen, you've got some options for the various programs, and you can see the drop-down menu that will bring you to First Lego League Explore. And under that section, you'll see resources as well. We have some great ones there, whether it's just fun ideas on how to extend your season, specific things for the season, for example, the logos or what have you, if you wanted to use them for a newsletter going home to your parents or something along that line. There's also some great videos like on programming, on how to run your team remotely if you're ending up to doing something like that. Let's see, there's just a whole variety though of things. Some of these are provided by FIRST, some are from FIRST Canada, some are from other coaches, and most importantly is probably the curriculum connection piece. You'll find resources there on that as well that tie this season's theme and the whole kit and caboodle basically into the Ontario curriculum, so that you know exactly how it fits in and how you can make good use of it in your classroom. So guess now what we'll do is we'll turn it back to Dave and see if there are any additional questions that have come up throughout the presentation, or perhaps I've missed something and you can remind me of that too. So use your question box if you have any.
Sure, yeah, thanks, Chris. So one of the questions that we had come in, sent privately to me, I guess, was how does one go about hosting a festival?
Right. So there's, I guess, two things I guess I should address that. If it's an individual team that's wanting to host a festival, we do have those. Just contact me, let me know you're interested, and I'll walk you through the process. Those festivals we ask be opened to teams throughout the province so that they can participate, because individual teams do not host their own festival because it's not, I guess it's not as big a celebration if you're doing it by yourself. But if you have a class or a school pack, you're going to be hosting your own festival, and there's a whole manual that you will receive that comes along with this, and it walks you step by step through it. And like I said, it's very flexible, so you might be able to tie it into something you're already doing in your classroom or at your school. And there's, like, it runs the whole thing. You can have fun. It can be like a carnival. It can be very casual, just sort of over in the corner on a parent night or something, so that people walking through can stop and learn more about what the students are learning. It can be anything, and the whole part is the celebration of learning. So usually there's a certificate that's printed off and given to each student, and that will be included in your package as well, so you'll have access to that. Or you have the option of purchasing medallions or trophies or whatever you'd like. So medallions are traditionally given to each student if you go that route, and trophies, usually there's one per team if you choose to go that route. So we just like to keep things consistent, so that if one team is receiving something, every team receives that same sort of something. And there are a list of awards that the teams can receive, and that's all really clearly explained in your festival guidelines. So good question though.
Yeah, good tips too, thanks. Along that line, what would you suggest for recruiting reviewers for the festival?
Well, I think colleagues, teachers are a great resource. It could be some of the experts, maybe, if you've happened to go the route of, throwing in some field trips or something along that line. You can maybe have them come in to review. Could be some of the other staff at the school that might be interested. Could be parents as well, because they're a great resource, and it's always great to get parents involved in any of these sorts of programs, because they sort of may be able to help you lighten your load. And also, I guess if you have access to or a nearby FIRST robotics competition team, some of those students might be interested, or mentors from those teams. So you could reach out to sort of one of the first teams with older students that's in your area, or in your school board, you might have one as well. So those are always good options, but usually it's not too hard to find them, especially because a team of 2 reviewers can, you know, depending on how long your festival lasts, they can review and meet with a number of teams. So it's yeah, so lots of options, and it's usually not nearly as hard as you'd think to find those reviewers.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Along those lines with festivals as well, and keeping with that theme, are there any festivals currently planned?
We do have one festival in December that's planned at this point, but we keep the website updated, and you can find those on the firstroboticscanada.org website. And as we find out about more, as volunteers step forward and offer to organize or help organize an event in their area, we post those there. Also, they come out in my team blasts, which happen on Fridays, not every Friday, Fridays as needed. And if you're not subscribed or signed up for that, you can find out details on how to join that email list on our website as well.
Awesome, thank you. So this question is about budget and the grants. The person says, my budget at school is tight. How likely is it that I would get the grant?
I'd say very likely at this point. If you do it today, I can guarantee it. Yeah, the later you wait in the season, the less likely it is, but usually we are able to help most teams. We try not to have to turn anybody down. Let's just put it that way.
Alrighty, that's good news. Just looking through these questions here.
I guess I haven't talked too much about the timeline, Dave. Maybe I should mention that as well.
Sure.
So registration for First LEGO League Discover and First LEGO League Explore continues throughout the school year. It really only has a hard end date when they run out of the Discover kits. So we usually, not always, but can give you a heads up when registration will be closing. But it is something that can be started anytime, although I do recommend starting it or registering now, so that you've got the whole year to sort of work through when you use it, and you know, you have your resources as well that you may be able to utilize for other things in your classroom as well. But there's nothing wrong with delaying until, you know, January or February. Some teams even just wait until the spring. But I think there's a little more pressure on some of those teams to sort of get things finished before the end of the school year. But there isn't a specific season timeline like there is for First LEGO League Challenge and the other older programs for older students. So there's a lot of flexibility built into this.
Do you have any, I know you had the slide for the COVID recommendations. Do you have any verbal ones or big ones that you think would be really good tips for sharing materials in the classroom where
Right.
social distance?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be a challenge, and I think it will depend largely on the kind of students you have. But I would suggest having each student have sort of their own sort of bucket, if you call it, of Lego that they use to create their section and sort of combine pieces together. You'll notice when you get your Discover set that it comes with 6 base plates, and there's a maximum, coincidentally or not coincidentally, of 6 students per team. So it's really great to be able to divide out those base plates and give each student one so that they can do their own building on their own. And at the end, if circumstances with COVID allow, you can take those 6 base plates and combine them together to make one large Lego creation. And I think that's how I would approach it. it's not a bad thing to do even in a non-COVID situation, to make sure each student has an equal opportunity to contribute and for hands-on learning opportunities as well. So I think that's a really great part about it. As far as the Discover set, it can be broken down into smaller chunks. As you saw in the little video, the little boy that was putting it together, he sort of had 2 chunks at the end that he put together. And then there was actually a third piece with the motor that was put together. So you could divide that easily out amongst different students so that they can all have a part in building that piece. And that, again, is added to the overall model at the end. So I think that's how I would approach it. And, you know, the standard sort of safety practices that we're all being encouraged to use right now are, you know, making sure you're keeping hands clean and that things are disinfected or set aside for the appropriate amount of time in between use if it's different people that are going to be handling it. Certainly with the project, it's easy too, because students can, you know, each sort of do their own, you know, have their own page or pages that they're working on coloring or whatever they're doing that can be added at the end to the display board. So that's pretty easy to keep separate. Any other questions?
Yeah, those were great. Thanks, Chris. One last one. This person writes in, I'm a bit of a type A teacher and like to keep everything organized. Do you have any thoughts on organizing all the little Lego pieces?
Have fun. Yeah, there's a lot of great ideas out there, and one of the things that I've put together for First Robotics Canada is a Pinterest page, and it's got a great section on organizing Lego, because there's so many different ways to do it, and what works for one person isn't gonna, you know, work for somebody else quite as well, but there's lots of great ideas out there. And of course, the bins that the We Do 2.0 comes in, those are quite helpful as well with the different sections. And you know, you can sort of keep one tub for each team and you know, label them so that they're not getting mixed up, and distribute those amongst the different teams in your classroom. That's a great way to do it too. But lots of great ideas on Pinterest, so I encourage you to check those out, because really creative ones.
Pinterest is a wonderful world, isn't it?
It sure is.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Chris. Looks like we're out of questions at this point, so we will wrap it up here.
Yeah, well, thank you very much, everyone, for attending. And if you need any help at all, please feel free to reach out. There's my email address. And, you know, just really don't be afraid to reach out if you have questions. Keep an eye out for those email updates. And also, First Canada Live, we're having some live sessions. I believe they're on Tuesday nights, and we're going to be incorporating some more information on First Lego League Explore in some of those as well. So lots of resources coming your way, and yeah, have fun and good luck with your teams.
Thanks, Chris. Really appreciate your time today, and thanks to everybody for joining us for the show. Hope you learned lots, and we look forward to seeing your teams engaged with Lego and having fun this year. Stay safe, everybody.